Hello, welcome to Smartboard 101. I'm your host, Robert Rocha. I'm an Instructional Technology Specialist with the Paso Independent School District. Recently in our video segments, we've been talking about how to add interactivity into your Smart Notebook lessons. The focus we're going to be on today is going to be called Identify and Label. And this is going to allow us, for you as a teacher, to go and create a graphic and actually have the identifying parts on the actual Smart Notebook file. And you can have the students come up to the board and move those text objects to identify the different parts of your graphic. It's a very useful tool, and I think you kind of really enjoy and like it with your students. So let's go and look at it and see how it works, and let's go and create one of these type of files so you can use it in your classroom. Over here, go back to my slide I have up here, and I have my identifying label. So hopefully my smartboard works today, and we'll go and click on that, and it'll take us to our slide that I have. And today I'm using the Globe Theater, and I just kind of use a simple background. Just kind of change my background to brown. And I added some questions here for the kids to look at. So as I'm talking, they can also read the board to kind of see what the instructions they have to do. And so here are, what are the different parts of the theater and what are they used for? And so here in our Globe Theaters, you can see the way I have it set up here. Let me move my slide down just a little bit here. I have a picture of the Globe Theater. Then I have all these little identifying lines that you see here to kind of pointing out the different aspects, the different parts of the actual theater itself. And so here on the very bottom, I typed in these words here called the upper stage, the inner stage, the main stage. And what that allows us to do is we can actually move these words, because if we remember back in our previous segments, everything that you see here is an object. So even though it's a text word, it's an object, I can still move it around and manipulate it on my board. And so for instance, let's say one of the kids says, oh, what is where are the galleries? And so the student come out to the board now, they can actually take their finger or a ball, whatever they want to use to manipulate the board, and actually move the word galleries and put it to the appropriate identifying spot, which I have right here, the galleries. And so at that point, the student can continue to go up and move those items, or if you like, you can go have other students come out to the board to get more opportunities to move them out of their seats and actually interact and engage in your lesson here. So for instance, on this one has a few items. So for instance, the flag, of course, the flag is going to be on top of our building. And let me try that again. There we go. And I just moved my flag up there. And here's called the trap door. Move that down. If you can kind of see it, there's a little trap door that's right there. And I'm going to go to the upper stage. Move that up to my upper stage that's right here, right there. And of course I have the heavens, which is considered a little canopy above the actual stage itself. Then here I have my open yard. So I'm going to move my open yard across through there. So as you can see, everything works out pretty well. It's a pretty simple thing to work. I have my inner stage, which is actually the back stage would be the inner stage there. And of course my main stage is that front area. And then my tiering house, which is a little bit above that second upper stage that's right there. And so that's pretty much how you identify and you label with the students. So let's go and create this file and see how this actually works. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go and insert a blank page. So again, in Smart Notebook, there are different ways of doing that. If I look at my toolbar, in the upper part of my toolbar, I have a blank page with a little green dot with a little plus sign letting me know I can add a page. I can also find it in my tabs feature down below here in the very bottom, so wherever you feel comfortable, but I'm going to use the one on the top. I'm going to add a page here. And so now what I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and change my background from white to that brown color. And so the best way to do that is to go to Format. When I go to Format and the drop-down menu screen that's here, I can choose Background, and that pretty much opens up my tab feature. And I'm going to choose that kind of brown that I had before. And there we go, right there. Now, right now, I'm up in front of the board, but I'm actually going to go back to my computer screen because, you know, it's always easier to create the files on your actual computer and actually present them on the actual smart board. So I'm going to go back to my computer screen over here and actually create that. Now, the one thing I'm going to go ahead and do is the picture that I have of the Globe Theater, that wasn't actually in Smart Notebook. I actually had to find that from an outside source. But I went ahead and added that to my content. And I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. But in my content, if I click up here in the Galleries tab, under my content, if I go to Pictures here, there's the picture of the Globe Theater that I found. I'm just going to simply double click on that. and it's going to add it to my screen that I have right here. Now, as the kids are coming up and doing the actual moving around, we don't want the actual picture to move. So in my marquee select that I have here, or my editor is up, I'm going to go to the drop-down menu screen, and I'm going to go to locking. I'm going to choose lock in place because we don't want the kids to come up to the board and actually move that particular piece. Okay? So once I have that, now I have to create all the lines of all the identifying pieces that I want to go ahead and do. So I'm going to go back up to my toolbar up here, and I'm going to choose my line segments. If I go back up here to my line segment, it's going to be this one right there, and it's to the right of the eraser. When I click on that, I have all these different lines that I can choose from. And so I think I'm going to use the one with the pointers because even though my picture looks kind of big there, I want to really specify what exactly I'm going to be pointing to. And so now I have my cursors now selected as being that tool. And I'm going to go ahead and do the trap door first. Got that one there. And I'm going to go ahead and do the galleries, which is going to be this one here, line right there. Now notice I'm starting from I'm starting from outside in to identify the different pieces that I have. That way the arrow is always facing the correct place. So I'm putting in all my labels that I have here. And let me go back. I think I had also the main stage. I also had another one for the open field. I had another one for the heavens. And I think I'm missing one that I can think of. But for right now, let's go ahead and put this right here. Let's go ahead and finish up right now. And so I have all these items here that are individual objects, and so they can be moved. And so what I want to do now is I want to make sure I lock all these individual lines that I just did. So I'm going to go back to being a cursor in my toolbar. And in my toolbar, once I'm that cursor, I'm going to do a marquee select across the whole pieces that are there. Now, as you can see back in my picture now, I have all these drop-down menus in the middle of my arrows. It doesn't matter which one I choose. I'm just going to go to the drop-down on one of them and go to locking. And I'm going to go to lock in place. And so now that whole item is all in one place. It can't be moved. The kids cannot go up there and move it. Now, the next thing I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to add my words to the actual piece. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cursor over here, and I'm going to start typing in the word main stage. And there I go, I have main stage. And that's about the proper size that I want. And of course, the black color is fine. And so I'm going to go ahead and unclick that. But now, notice when I move it, if I double click on it, it opens up. And so if the kids come up to the board itself, they'll actually may freak out and say, oh my God, I think I broke the board. So we want to be able to lock that object so way the editor does not come up. And so just like we've done in the past, I'm going to do my marquee select, which I get my editor, comes up. I go back to my drop-down menu. But when I go to locking, I'm going to choose something different. I'm not going to do lock in place. I want to do allow move. So I'm going to allow move, and I'll move that down here. And so I would continue adding all the different words that I have. But for the sake of the TV show and the time, I'm going to go to dual page display, and I'm going to cheat a little bit. And I'm actually going to take my words from the other page here, and I'm going to drag them, if I can get it to work. I'm going to drag it to the next page. And so that also can be, again, another little tool that you can use using a dual page display. You can move objects from one side to the next and put those items that are there that you need. Okay, there we go. Last one that I have up there. Okay, and so now actually go back to my single page display. And now there I have all my words that I have. Of course, I did the main stage again, so I can always go back and, even though it's a locked item, I can click on the lock and go to unlock and then go down here and get the editor comes back up again and go to delete, and there is my delete. And if I wanted to, I could type in the instructions that I have, but that's pretty much how you build and identify and label slide. And that pretty much wraps it up for this particular show, and we hope you like it. I hope you use it with your students and see if it's a useful tool in your classroom. Thank you very much.